So today's video is about Vinesh Phogat losing a chance at a medal. And as India's senior nutritionist, I would like to say that I've worked on Olympic medals and having won with the athlete a few medals. There is certain experiential wisdom that is required when you eat food and compete in weight management category sports. Boxing, taekwondo, judo, weightlifting, wrestling, all of these require you to be in a certain category of weight. Now, we've heard about the news, and this video is not about virality. It's just me coming to you and thinking, what are the problems that could have happened? So, this has been a systemic, endemic problem, not from the system, not from the government, not from organizations, not from the support team. But I keep saying this to people. You have a coach for the sport, you have a physiotherapist for the sport, you have a nutritionist for the sport, you have a strength and conditioning person for the sport, you have all of these people, massios, mind coaches, and everything. But when you look at the elite players, they travel with about 10 to 11 of their own personal team. The chef, the nutritionist, the massio, these three are actually at the bottom of the authority chain, but they're the most important when it comes to the execution of what the athlete needs to do, eat, sleep, breathe every day. The SNC coach, the physiotherapist, and then the main coach, who's the strategist who brings all of these people together. Now, when Miss Fogart lost 2 point some kgs of weight gain happened after one meal, and then it said in the papers that everyone panicked. I have experienced stuff like this with athletes, and it does happen. And what could be some of the reasons? One could be that I've won many fights. I'm on a low calorie diet. This is not my weight management category. And so I saw something and I ate it. Now, when we do genetic testing in our clinic, there's something known as a satiety gene and a snacking gene. So I remember once somebody came to my house and I kept a bowl of pistachios and I counted the number of pistachios, which was around 45 pistachios in that bowl, and we were having a conversation. At the end of the conversation, this gentleman had a snacking gene. He refused to believe that he snacks. He always thought he was very, very disciplined. So even athletes think they're very disciplined. But is the athlete carrying a weighing scale? One of my boxing clients is laughed at in one of the leading sporting facilities in the country because every time she goes down for breakfast, she carries a small weighing scale, right? So everyone's laughing at her कि क्या पागल हो गया weighing scale लेके आते. But it's a way of life because you need to know how many calories of rice, oats, cornflakes, or how many ml of milk you're drinking, or what is the weight of my protein, what is the weight of my carbohydrate. And so the athlete needs to get aware of what they need to eat. So how much to eat, when to eat, and what to eat. Now, when I come back to the snacking gene, that client ate all 45 pistachios. At the end of it, I said, Sarji, did you know that you ate all 45 pistachios? And he gave me galis and bad words. Kibai, how can you treat me like this? I said, sir, I'm trying to prove a point to you that I've told you with a genetic test that you have a snacking gene. In your counseling with me, when you're not with me 24/7, which is the case with Olympic level athletes, they're not with the nutritionist, right? They're not living with the doctor in the room. They're not living with the coach in the room. So the chance is that there's a slip between the mind and the lip. So snacking gene is one. The second one is satiety gene. You eat something, but your brain doesn't receive the signal that you have a sense of fullness. So you'll say one more spoon, one more spoon. Now, I believe that the wrestlers, the boxers don't do this. They literally starve themselves. If you see the two boxers, there are some media articles saying that they did not drink water, they did not eat well for 2 days just to meet the weight category. So I am asking, what are we doing to help the athlete? And when I worked with Sushil Kumar in the Beijing Olympics and the London Olympics, his diet plan and his supplement strategy was given months in advance. So, what I'm trying to say is that we are constantly recreating dress rehearsals of this weight category. Whenever a coach has told me we need to go into this weight category 6 weeks later, I pull my hands back and say, do not do it. There's an effect on the health of the athlete, as you saw with the dehydration, drawing of blood, cutting the hair, I mean, psychologically, physiologically, you'll do whatever it takes, right? But my question is the strategy correct in the pursuit of a gold medal? Yes, when all stakes are high, I would support any team to win a gold medal, even if it's at the risk of putting the athlete at the borderline of dropping into worse health. But you know that you can pull back within a few hours after you do the weigh-in, you can eat, you can hydrate. But coming back, what could have been this 2 kgs weight gain? This 2 kgs weight gain, in my opinion, could have been something that she ate which was loaded with sugar or salt and she was not aware of it. She was either too tired or not in the level of perception. See, you need to understand one thing. When you're on low calorie carbohydrate diet for days on end, your brain will only come out with aggression and adrenal at the time of matches. The rest of the time, most athletes are like walking zombies because the brain shuts down. So, could it be that the brain had shut down and the attention to detail for food, to eat something, was not there? So obviously the athlete is not in the full cognizant mind, meaning attention is not there to the food that you're eating. Now, do you know that if you store a higher carbohydrate food, what we call as carb loading, the glycogen in the muscle can increase anywhere from 600 to about 800 grams for an athlete of Miss Fogart's size. Now, one molecule of glycogen stores 3 molecules of water, which means 800 grams of glycogen will store 2.5 liters of water in the muscle. So, a weight loss of 600 grams to about 3 kgs is the range of operation that you can use just on lowering carbohydrates in the diet and going towards a high protein diet. So, I'm sure the nutritionist may have been astute enough to have done this. Now, the question is, was this done? Was there a person sitting and handing over her meals? Because now, this is what I would do. I remember in the Asia Cup, when I was working with the Indian hockey team, um, I had prepared bottles for each of the players. And I remember Dilip Tirki was the captain at that time. And he's like, Bhai Sahab, why are you putting my name on the bottle? Ek to sabke liye bana lo na. Like, boss, I want to monitor how much you drank for the match. So one of the coaches over there is like, kya fayda hai? What will you come to know on how much you drunk in the match? Match is already over. Sir, you're not playing one match. You're playing 7 matches to get to the finals. So in every match that I play, I am coming to know which is the guy that's got so much of stress that he's forgotten to drink water or he's forgotten how to eat or something was put in front of them and they don't remember what they ate. So the cognizance of the athlete is lowered because of lack of glucose and carbohydrate due to cutting of weight, the brain not working, and therefore when food is going into you, it's going subconsciously, unconsciously, and you are not aware of the scientific load of that food on your body. And then you get a thappad suddenly saying that, by weight to upar ho gaya. So this could be one of the reasons. The second reason plausibly could be that the menstruation cycle has to be timed properly with female athletes. So a lot of times we will use birth control a quarter in advance to reset the menstruation cycle, because you know a woman is most powerful between the 7th day onwards after the finish of a menstruation cycle till about 21 days. So we have this window where around 14 to 21 days, the most power comes out of a woman, most endurance comes out of a woman, least amount of fatigue. It's called the ovulatory phase. Now, we've got a chart in our clinic which we put together, the co-nutrition clinics where I practice with a lot of sports nutritionists, and we look at that as one component. So could it have been that there was a hormonal glitch for her? The third point, which maybe a lot of people may not realize, is the inducement of euphoria or stress in either one of these categories can cause you to do, think, or behave in certain ways that will affect the pathways of biochemistry in your body. So I have seen some of my athletes get very, very happy and suddenly put on weight, or get extremely depressed and anxiety, and we can't even get the fat percentage out of the body. So this could be another reason that would be there. In addition to this, as being a member of the doping committee, Sometimes athletes will keep supplements with them, and they need to take the supplements that are legal, which has the Informed Sports or the Banned Substances Group logo or Informed Choice logo on it. And these are ratified that they don't contain banned substances, and these are some of the supplements that the athletes can take. Sometimes what happens is when you keep these supplements and in the running between rooms and getting the arena and all of that stuff, the supplements can be exposed to its natural contamination, which is air, water, and get spoiled. So, can the spoilage have caused something? I'm not saying this happened in a case, but I'm trying to identify in my head. I've been banging my head for the last 2 days. What could be the reason for that? And then could be what we call as professional sabotage in nutritional supplements. Let's say, for example, just a case scenario, my athlete is hated by another competitor's team and they have an electrolyte solution over there, but the electrolyte has no glucose in it. So what you do is, the sweetnesses you don't know, you replace the electrolyte powder with glucose powder. So what's going to happen is you prepare a 1 liter solution and it has 120 or 60 grams of glucose, right? And you drink it and you think it's got your sweetener, which is 0 calorie and electrolyte. So that was another thought process that went in my head. Now, as a sports nutritionist, I'm supposed to plan for all of these contingencies. I'm supposed to educate the athlete. I'm supposed to repeatedly counsel. And the best case scenario is that if an athlete has his or her chef slash nutritionist with them, then the food preparation should be closely guarded, literally, by that person. You know, it's like when I do a lot of counseling, I expect my bowl of fruit to be here on the side with me. Now, I'm not going to decide which fruit I have to eat. I'm not going to decide how to wash that fruit, how to cut it, to put salt or not to put salt, how much quantity should I keep it over here. A nutrition plan is created and given to my housekeeping, and that is placed in front of me. That convenience allows me to focus on my work. But as an athlete, if I don't have that convenience, meaning if my country doesn't offer me the support of a chef, if my country doesn't offer me the support of a nutritionist, then I have to think about breakfast, lunch, dinner, pre warm up, priming, post priming meal, pre match meal, during match, and post match. And there are so many permutations and combinations. So, when I give a nutrition plan and I'm remotely sitting in India and then the athlete is over there, okay, Ryan said to do this. So, am I not creating another level of stress? So, literally, I used to call myself the water boy in my younger years, wherein I would prepare those solutions and keep it for the Indian hockey team. And, when they would come out at halftime, I'm like, Mukholo, tuck, 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 tuck. I would put the packet of amino acids into their mouth and everything. Because they were just like so much in the zone and they don't have the focus. And that's why you have that badminton coach, that TT coach, that weightlifting coach, that boxing coach, that wrestling coach standing on the sideline. Ye kar do, wo kar do, do da. They are shouting at them. So, ठीक है, match khatam ho gaya. Why is the coach there? Do you think PV Sindhu does not know how to play badminton? Do you think Sharat Kamal doesn't know how to play table tennis? Do you think Mirabai Chanu doesn't know how to powerlift and weightlift and do the necessary thing? Do you think Miss Phogat doesn't know how to do wrestling? Why do they need a coach over there? Please ask that question. They need a coach over there because that's the person that's taking them to the next level. Lekin dal chawal roti, when you're eating food, where's the coach? Where's the nutrition coach? So I have been shouting from the treetops before this Paris Olympics. I even offered the services of mine free of cost on July 20th to all the Olympic level athletes. I reached out to my ex-clients. They're like, yeah, it's okay. I don't want to take names over here, but you guys, if you're watching this video, you know who you are. I offered to give my dietary support services. And when I watched the Olympics, I was able to see who was tired and who was not tired. Now you may troll me and say like, how is that possible? Let's get on a live call. Let's get on a live on a program and I will pick out the players. And how does that happen? Pick out the players who have greater energy and lower energy. Over the years, as a good by the side of the athlete nutritionist, you begin to have observational wisdom on what is low. Yes, all of these exercise variables like Whoop, Garmin, Apple Watch have come in, has made my life much more simpler. So could we train with these on the athletes and then know how their body performs? So I'm sure the teams are doing that. I'm sure the organizers are doing this. But I want to make this point. You need the nutritionist and the chef to be there with the athletes. And so what are my solutions for India at the next Olympics in USA? What I would do, I would get a think tank team together. Give me 5 hours with this team and I will write you a blueprint, and I'll just rattle it off very, very quickly. Number one is, how do we select the dietitians or nutritionists that support the Indian Olympic team? Number one, they need to have a minimum of 10 years of experience with any athlete. There needs to be a recruitment process where the government, that Sports Authority of India, as well as all of the organizations, including TOPS, OJQ, Go Sports, Lakshay, when they want to hire the professionals in-house, that's the physios, the nutritionists, the doctors, whoever is there, the coaches, there needs to be a caliber at which you recruit a person. I know a few organizations, in fact, I had a conversation with one of the organizations saying that, why don't you allow me and my team of 100 plus sports nutritionists to take care of your athletes instead of you hiring that person in your organization? You see, when you hire the organization, first of all, you ask for 1 to 3 years of experience with a nutritionist. Do you think the Indian athlete who's going for an Olympic medal deserves an Olympic level experienced support staff, or somebody who has 1 to 3 years of experience and you wing it along the way? So you have to wait for 4 Olympics before that nutritionist really gets good. So do you have a committee to select these individuals? I think you need to go with a wisdom culture, experiential culture. So one is the problem of who's being recruited, and is it naam ke vaste people that you are recruiting? So I don't want to poke holes at which nutritionist is out there or which sports coach is out there that's not doing their jobs, but this is something that we need to do. Once you identify these people, you sit them down. If you're going for the next Olympics, we start 1 year in advance with Olympic probables and confirmed Olympic go-getters. All of them are put on a nutrition plan. Each athlete is monitored by a MSc or PhD nutrition student. His or her dissertation depends on the qualification mark level for this athlete. Now, once you do this, if you have a personalized nutritionist, let's say one nutritionist can handle 30 athletes for the year. That person's sole responsibility is these 30 athletes. Now, you don't give one nutritionist, you give 2 nutritionists, because what if that nutritionist falls sick, or what if that physio falls sick, or that masseur falls sick? So every 30 athletes get 2 nutritionists. And once you get this, you begin to start the diet planning process based on blood tests, genetic tests, microbiome tests. The microbiome test is done every 90 days to see how the diet is affecting the gut microbiome. The mental anxiety is even impacted by the diet. The depression in the athlete is impacted by the gut health. So microbiome analysis really takes you to the next level. I have had athletes who say that, Dr. Ryan, and I'm not even a doctor, I'm just a nutritionist, but out of respect, they say that to me, what am I eating that you're making me feel so good? So it's a process of knowing which foods are thumbs up, which foods are thumbs down. Have you done a food intolerance test for the Indian Olympic team? You haven't done it. When you say whey protein, do they really need to take whey protein? What if they're allergic to dairy? So these are points that are not considered. You're winging it. You're winging it. India is winging it. Dal chawal roti has no say in the athlete's life. So when I put this together, I'll come into when we start traveling to those time zones, look at temperature, look at humidity, look at hydration, look at electrolytes, look at restaurants in 5 kilometer ranges. Hell, let's carry our own. I would put together 20 chefs for the next Olympics. We hire an Indian restaurant. If we are going to Los Angeles, we call up Mr. Vikas Khanna, chef, can you arrange for 30 Indian chefs in USA? We will put them on deputation over there. Let the whole Indian team reach there 1 month in advance. Let's pay to hire our own village. Let's work out over there, transfer everyone into that time zone at that point. When you begin to do stuff like this, is only when you have an undeniable chance of winning. Because when you start doing this, you've prepared for all contingencies. And when you have your own food, for example, breakfast, the conflicts that comes, or the oats that comes, or the poha that comes, or the paratha that comes, every ingredient on that is predetermined. So I will tell my team, hey guys, find out the best wheat flake brands, find out the best oat brand brands. I want it all organic. Give me the nutritional profiling of these brands. I want to start 1 year in advance. We will approve these as the food vendors. I want blueberries. Which are the best blueberries in the world? Because my athlete doesn't need sadawala blueberries. He needs the best of the best blueberries, right? And we don't want to make the athlete decide these things कि मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है, मेरे पास कहाँ से लेके आ जाएगा. So that is the function of us, the organizations, the support staff, the government and everything. That's what we need to be doing. And I'll tell you what's the problem. The bureaucrats and the administrators are too scared. So when I once worked with an organization and one of the athletes got tested dope positive because of sabotage, we stopped the whole nutrition programs because we're just too scared to give advice, because what if the athlete tests positive? Now, I'm just trying to share with you that you will have ups and downs, but that's part of life. And the loss today, I mean, I was angry yesterday. She lost it for 100 grams. I mean, and today as I reflect, I think I feel for the doctor, the physio, the whole support team. You can't plan for something like this. But I asked this question, were you well prepared enough with all contingencies planned out? It's like going to war. And I think India approaches the battlefield in sports in a very laid back attitude from the nutrition perspective and sleep perspective. So there's a lot of things that we could do. And this was just a video from my heart saying that for the next Olympics, I would love to offer my services to any athlete out there. Many of you think that I'm doing this for my own agenda. The biggest agenda I have in life is to win an Olympic gold medal with the athlete. And I get trolled saying that, where have you won the Olympic medal? Every athlete has a support team which includes the coaches. And it is very personal, because when the athlete wins, have you noticed how much the coaches jump with joy? Because it's the athlete's victory, it's the athlete's medal. But it's like parents, right? When I graduated, my parents had the biggest smile on their face. They're your biggest fans. So I would love to be the biggest fan to all the Indian athletes. And it'll be a pleasure for me to help everyone out in the next Olympics. Yes, it's going to cost money, but then there's an investment required for every victory in life.